It's interesting, whenever people ask me about my abortion specifically, I try to remember when it happened, and I can't. Part of that is just because have a really loopy relationship with time, but also it just wasn't the kind of thing that I remember the date. Just like I don't remember the date that I got my wisdom teeth out or something like that. But it was in the springtime a couple of years ago. It was interesting because I went through like the process of, checking in, sitting in the waiting room. It was a Saturday at Planned Parenthood, and the only thing that happens at Planned Parenthood on Saturdays is abortions at this particular clinic. And so everyone is there to have an abortion or to support someone who's having an abortion. The staff is all helping people have abortions. And there was definitely this sort of like powerful synergy at work amongst the people working in the clinic, and I could really feel it, and it was just really powerful, and it made me feel really lucky, and it felt overwhelming. I just am not the kind of person that would have something major happen in my life and not share it with like at least X number of people. Whether it's like, one thing that happens when you go through something difficult is you then have to go through your life and tell everyone, and then sort of internalize their reaction and like parse out their emotional response to what you're choosing or what's happening. So like, when you go through a breakup, you have to like tell everyone, and then people are like, oh my God, no! Why? And then you're like, fuck, I'm barely like keeping it together, and now I have to like feel your feelings and explain why to you. Like, I don't even know why. And so I didn't want to do that like times 20, especially about an abortion, which like was really cut and dry to me and was not something I felt emotionally convoluted about. But I knew that like other people in my life might have a response to that. That might be something like, I feel so sad for you that you have to go through that, or I feel so sad that you're not choosing to become a mother right now. I've always wanted you to become a mother. Are you ever going to do that? And I just didn't want to have those conversations, so I chose to do the one-way communication of an email instead of inviting all 20 of those conversations into my life. And I got like everyone responded differently, but everyone was just like, the consensus was just kind of like, it's awesome that you're doing this on your own terms, and like, go Amelia, we're proud of you for making this choice and also choosing to communicate about it in a way that's very like you. I felt good, and I felt really good about feeling good, and I wanted to say thank you. So then the actual procedure happened, and like, it was a nothing. It was like, I've had so many more like traumatic medical experiences, like at the dentist, or like even just other doctor stuff. It was quick and, pretty much painless, and it just wasn't something that I felt like. I really felt like I was able to define my own experience emotionally. I didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm supposed to feel like this thing's soul is leaving my body right now. I just felt like I am, this is my body, and I'm doing what I need to do to make it not make a baby. And I'm so glad that I have these people around me. And then I just went home and slept a bunch and went about my business as usual the next day.
When I first found out I was pregnant, I didn't tell my parents, and I didn't tell them for a very long time because I guess honestly I thought they would be disappointed in me for getting pregnant in the first place. And my boyfriend, I think at the time we were fighting, so I think he felt like I was being dramatic or like it was my fault. And so I felt like I was being dramatic and like it was my fault. Because I guess, I always thought I would want children. But now, with the abortion, I don't think I want kids anymore, just because it's too painful a memory to think about. That, I guess pregnancy is supposed to be this really beautiful thing, and it is for a lot of people, but it just isn't for me. And I feel kind of alone in that sentiment, and I feel like when I was going through the abortion, people just didn't really understand me, and afterwards, people cared, but people forget. And, you're just stuck with all these memories that you can't really articulate, because no one I knew had an abortion, and I feel like in a way I felt like I had to make light of it, so, people didn't pity me or think, I don't know, or I guess question what I had done. But that doesn't really ever erase, that sometimes, I'll forget about it for a couple months, and then I'll wake up, and I'll remember it, and I guess I still don't know how I feel. I still haven't come to terms with it completely. But even though I feel so conflicting about the whole experience, I know that if I got pregnant again, I would have another abortion, because I can't have a kid right now. Having the abortion and I guess just made me not want to deal with things, not want to talk to people, not want to go out socially. And people don't really understand why. And it's really hard to explain to people, well, I had an abortion, and even if you do explain that, there's still some stigma. I don't know. I don't know if I'm articulating this in the way that I want to. I don't want to frame abortion as this terrible entity, because I would have it again if I needed to, but it's not a light operation, or it's not just something you can take pills for and it goes away. It affects you. For me, it totally changed how I feel about being a mom and growing up to have kids. I think it kind of robs me of that experience, and I think it made me feel like I failed.
But my grandma had 8 children. She had 8 children, and she would always tell me, if I had options, the options that are available today, like birth control and legal abortion in a clinic, she was like, I would not have had all these kids. She said, I did not want all of these kids. I didn't want one, to be fucking honest with you, but I didn't have an option. She always told me about everything that she wanted to do. She wanted to finish high school, and she wanted to go to college, and she said by the time she was 21, she had 2 kids, and she couldn't do any of that. And she always said that a big aspect of her not wanting to have kids is that she didn't want to be chained to a man. And back in those days, and still even to this day, in some aspects, like you're chained to that fucker for the rest of your life. Like, she was married twice, and both of her husbands were abusive. So abusive to the point of like one shot her because they thought that she was cheating or whatever. And even if she was, it's not an excuse to shoot somebody. But her words to me when I told her that I was pregnant with my son, she told me verbatim, get an abortion and run for the hills. And this is coming from like a 60-something-year-old woman from the South. She told me, she was like, I'm not saying this to be mean, but get an abortion and get the fuck out of Dodge. You do not want to be chained to this guy for the rest of your life. He's already showing you that he's an asshole, that he's an idiot. She was like, if you want to have kids later on, yeah, but she's like, right now, just don't. And she always said it's not because of the kid, it's because of the way society treats mothers and the damn men. So sometimes I think about it, I'm like, shit, I should have listened to my grandma, but I'm trying to adopt the mindset that everything happens for a reason, but everything that she told me, it's fucking true. It's true. Society treats moms like shit. Well, I knew when I was a teenager that I did not want to have biological children. So when I turned 18, I asked my physician about sterilization, and they flat out told me no. And it's been an ongoing battle even after having my son. I was told that you have to either have another kid, turn 35, whichever one comes first, and then we may consider sterilizing you. Or you can go to Canada and Mexico and pay out of pocket for it. A lot of people, because I said that I never wanted kids, like when I tell them that I have my son, they jump to a bunch of like assumptions, like my kid is like starved and malnourished and doesn't do anything fun, and I beat him and I don't like him, and it's just completely not true. I love my son dearly. But even after experiencing motherhood, especially single motherhood, I just know that it's not something I would want to do again. Like, I don't want to do it again. Like, I enjoy watching him grow, and, you know, the milestones of him, like, taking steps and learning to count. Like, I think motherhood is a great thing, but it's one of those experiences where, like, if your friend says, hey, you want to go bungee jumping with me, and you're scared shitless when you go, but you enjoy it, but you never want to do it again. That's motherhood for me. I don't want to do it anymore after he's grown and gone. I'm changing my major after he's grown and gone and out of my house. So that's that. Right now I'm majoring in parenthood, and after that, after I graduate, I'm not going back to school. Metaphorically. So